We're now working on problems 24 through 28 from the study guide for test 1. A surveyor is measuring the distance across a small lake. He has set up his transit on one side of the lake 110 feet from a piling that is directly across from a pier on the other side of the lake. So here's the transit. Here's the piling. It's 110 feet from the transit to the piling. If the piling is directly across the lake from the pier, that's telling you that this is a 90-degree angle. From his transit, the angle between the piling and the pier, so here he is standing at the transit looking at the piling and at the pier, this angle is 60 degrees. What is the distance between the piling and the pier? They want to know this distance that I've just labeled x. You look at the given information. You think of which trig function includes the information given. I know that I am looking for the side opposite the 60-degree angle. I've been given the side adjacent to it. Tangent of theta equals opposite over adjacent. Filling in the given information, I have tangent of 60 degrees equals opposite, which is x, over adjacent, which is 110. After that, multiply both sides by 110. X equals 110, tangent of 60 degrees. Be sure that your calculator is in degrees. Turn your calculator on, mode, change to degrees, second quit. Now 110 tangent 60, enter. Round that to the nearest foot, approximately 191 feet. Number 25. A building 180 feet tall casts a 70-foot long shadow. If a person stands at the end of the shadow and looks up to the top of the building, what is the angle of the person's eyes to the top of the building? Here's my building. The whole building is 180 feet tall. This person that's standing out here looking up, his eyes or her eyes are 4 feet above the ground. That tells me that this side of this right triangle is 176 feet. This person is standing 70 feet from the building. What is the angle of the person's eyes to the top of the building? That means when this person's looking up, they want you to find that angle theta when they're looking up at the top of that building. Look at the information given. Think which trig function involves that information. Again, I'm looking for the measure of theta. I'm given opposite and adjacent, so I know that I'm going to use the tangent function. Tangent of theta equals 176 over 70. But I want to know what theta is. So I'm going to do second tangent of 176 over 70. This is like saying, what angle has tangent of 176 over 70? They want this answer in degrees. Be sure that your calculator's in degrees before you do this. It's in degrees because that's what we left it in, but you check it every time. Now, second tangent, 176 divided by 70, close parentheses, you get 68.31. That angle is 68.31 degrees. Number 26. I said, we're just going to leave this out. If there's one on the test like this, I will just throw it out because we didn't talk much about that. 27. A point on the terminal side of angle theta is given. Find the exact value of the indicated trig function of theta. So they're telling me that negative 1/3, comma, 1/2 is a point on the terminal side of angle theta. That's telling me that this is an x value and this is a y value. When I draw that angle, I know that the terminal side of that angle will be in quadrant 2, because in quadrant 2, x is negative and y is positive. There's theta. Some point on that line is this negative 1/3, comma 1/2. Find the exact value of the indicated trig function. They're wanting me to find cosine of theta. I have been given x, I've been given y. You know that cosine of theta equals x over r. You know that you need to find r. You know that you use Pythagorean's theorem, negative 1/3 squared plus 1/2 squared equals r squared. That is 1/9 plus 1/4 equals r squared. Combine these two fractions. Least common denominator is 36. 9 goes into 36 4 times. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 goes into 36 9 times. 1 times 9 is 9. 4 plus 9 is 13. I know that r squared equals 13 over 36. R equals the square root of 13 over 6. I know for sure that it's positive because r is always positive. Now, cosine of theta equals x, which is negative 1/3, over the square root of 13 over 6. it's a little easier to see this if you rewrite this as division. You know, when you're dividing by a fraction, you invert and multiply. Three goes into 6 2 times. That's going to cancel out. I have negative 2 over the square root of 13. Rationalize the denominator. Final answer, negative 2 times the square root of 13 all over 13. Problem 28. Evaluate the trig function at the quadrantal angle or state the expression is undefined. They want me to find the secant of pi. I believe that in class we might have gone through a little procedure. I'm going to show you the easiest way to do this. Use your calculator. Find cosine of pi. Hit the X inverse key. And you got it. Since we have pi, we want to be sure that we change to radians. Cosine of pi, close parentheses, X inverse, you got negative 1. Calculator does it for you. You don't even really have to do any thinking. The only thing you got to remember is, hey, cosine and secant are inverses of each other.